This podcast is proudly sponsored by Joro Protein, a Rhode Island plant-based protein supplement company designed for athletes and adventurers. They deliver 25 grams of protein, 5 grams of BCAAs, and 18 essential vitamins and minerals. It's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's allergen-free, no artificial flavors, no added sugar or stevia, and it has no additional gums, thickeners, or fillers. Right now, you can get 30% off on this podcast with the code Rhody Strength 2022. And you can find them at joroprotein.com.
This podcast is brought to you by Phase CBD. That's P-H-A-Z-E. They are a local Rhode Island company who makes and manufactures a wide-ranging variety of CBD products that are formulated specifically for athletes. It doesn't matter if you're a CrossFitter, a strongman, bodybuilder, or powerlifter. These products are for you. These products range from tinctures to seltzers to even roll-on applicants. By supporting this business, you're supporting a local Rhode Island business and you're supporting this podcast directly. Please check them out at phasesports.com.
All right, what's going on, guys? Dr. Matt here, host of the Rhody Strength podcast. We have a repeat guest on today, Tim Ferraro. It's been a while. I think this is our third or fourth episode together.
Third.
Is it third?
Yeah.
I think one was unreleased.
Yes. So yeah.
So we got you on today. We are recording out of North Providence on the Providence line.
Mm-hmm.
Call it either or. It's a nice day out. We're gonna do some yard work afterwards. Get a little tree planting, little messing around with some pallets, put some stuff together for my engagement party. But we wanted to talk about the Frogman swim today, which was last weekend.
Yeah.
Which I'm still a little stuffy from. I think I went a little too hard with the celebrations. But let's start it off with some rapid fire. I switched up the rapid fire today because you're a repeat guest, so I don't want to ask you the same questions. But
Peaceable.
we're gonna start it off with favorite color.
Army green.
Really?
Color of my truck.
Gotcha. Previously you had the white truck, right?
Yes.
But white's not your favorite color?
No.
Gotcha.
Army green, and then if that color didn't exist, orange.
Orange. Burnt orange or like traffic cone?
Like traffic cone.
Like
bright orange.
High vis.
Yes.
Do you have any orange snowboarding gear?
I have a backpack.
Oh yes. Perfect. Favorite recent movie you've seen?
Top Gun.
Oh,
the new
God.
one. I went to the Mendon Drive-In
You see in theaters?
with my lady.
Or drive-in?
We went to the drive-in, and it was so cool. Great movie.
I want to see that. I might watch that today. Is it only drive-in or
no, they're at the theater as well.
or, I mean, like you can't get it on like HBO or Netflix or anything.
Probably not yet. No.
Favorite recent TV show?
Okay. This is gonna be funny. So I went home a few weeks ago, and I was with my little cousin, and he's been watching this show on Netflix called Henry Danger. And it's about this kid in middle school who goes to get a job at this store called Junk and Stuff.
Junk and stuff.
Junk in Stuff, yes.
Junk in stuff.
And stuff.
And stuff.
And it's so bad. The acting is so terribly performed, but I can't stop watching it. So I'll put it on at night if I can't fall asleep. It's like feel-good TV.
Nice.
It's kind of embarrassing to say, but
hey,
that's the most recent TV show that I've watched. So it's the most recent TV show that I can think of.
I'm going to tell you mine too. And it's not my favorite, but Liz has been putting on Selling Sunset.
I don't know.
Selling Sunrise. It's some reality TV show.
Oh, God.
But it's just a bunch of just like these like Hollywood Hills like realtors who are just like super fake, super done up, like hair, nails, makeup, plastic surgery, everything. And she like obviously it's just like sit back and like just watch it type of TV. But so I'm usually like I'm folding laundry or whatever, so I'm like getting into the characters a little bit. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, come on, Maya, I can't believe you said that. Like, so no, that's good. All right, perfect. Next one I think you're gonna like, and I know the answer. I think I do it anyway. But favorite cut of steak?
Porterhouse.
Solid.
Porterhouse.
Solid.
Yeah.
Might need to get one of those later.
We most definitely should.
And then this is what I just threw in there. Could be a bust. We'll see. What type of milk do you drink?
Whole milk, baby.
Yeah, do you?
Whole milk.
No almond milk. No soy.
Whole milk.
You ever try raw milk?
No.
I got a connection.
Jeremiah?
Well, it's through him, but
Oh.
yeah. But yeah, yes. How did you know?
So I don't know the benefits of. I've heard milk's good for you. I've heard milk's bad for you, but every time I drink a protein shake, it's with whole milk.
Sure.
Or for the most part, whenever I have dinner, I'll have like 3 or 4 glasses of whole milk.
3 or 4 glasses.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that the secret?
Shit. Maybe.
Is that the secret to fitness?
I don't know. Yeah, whole milk. I think Connor will attest to that too. Whole milk. Whole milk boys.
Nice. The whole milk boys.
Whole milk boys.
Not 1%, not 2%.
Nope.
All of it.
I mean, I would do 2%. I grew up drinking 2%.
Yeah.
And then, funny enough, I was listening to a podcast years ago with Dave Lipson.
Okay.
And he was talking about drinking whole milk. So ever since then, I started drinking whole milk.
So we drink oat milk just because Liz is super lactose intolerant. But I do love myself a glass of whole milk every once in a while.
It's refreshing. It's good. So there's some people, like my roommate, for example, and he is just disgusted every time I drink milk. You should see his face.
Really?
Yeah.
Fletch?
No, Stock.
Yeah. Come on, Stock.
I don't think Fletch knows what milk is.
All right, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes to use another food reference.
Okay.
So Frogman Swim.
Yeah.
Last weekend was an awesome event. Obviously, first time I've been there. First time you've been there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about how I guess you found out about it and how you got into it.
Sure. So for those of you that don't know what the Boston Frogman Swim is, it's a 5K in the Boston Harbor. So it's about 3.2 miles, right? And it's a swim benefiting, or the funds that you raise in a fundraiser, it all goes towards the Navy SEAL Foundation. So Connor had done it for the past, this was the 4th year, so I would imagine he's done it 3 years. And we were at Reebok one day and he was talking about it and then just looked at me and said, "Do you want to do the swim with me?" And I knew what it was because I had just known about it just from seeing it on social media.
Yeah.
And without question, I just said yes. I don't even think I processed a thought in my head. I just said yes. And I wasn't a good swimmer. The only swimming I've ever done is surfing.
Yeah.
Or
which isn't really swimming.
Yeah. Or recreational swimming in the ocean or a pool. I've never set out to swim well.
Swim for sport.
Swim for sport. Yeah. And so he just asked me and I said yes. And then I didn't know if I knew he was being serious, but I didn't know if he kind of just asked me to ask me.
Yeah.
And he called me the next day and asked for my information. And I asked what it was for. And he said he was filling out the form. I was like, okay, let's do it.
That's awesome. So it was last weekend. It was at Pierce Park. And like you said, benefits were for Navy SEAL Foundation. Each swimmer had, part of the swim is like, it's not like a quote unquote race.
Yeah.
Like they don't really care about who comes in first, second, third. It's all about, okay, we're doing this to finish. And each swimmer has to raise, it's kind of implied if you sign up, yes, you're going to do the swim, but you're also going to raise funds.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole, kind of like the whole point of it being like a fundraiser. And I know Jeff, the organizer, Jeff Leard, was talking about after the swim how they had started originally in Tampa.
Yes.
And to celebrate or to raise funds for a fallen warrior down there, and it kind of caught steam.
Yeah, and it also the whole premise of it is that it's raising money for Gold Star families, and people that have lost their brother, their husband, their friend. It's benefiting all of them. And I think what's really, really cool about the swim is that they give you someone to swim for, which you're doing the swim obviously because it's bigger than yourself, but they assign a Navy SEAL who has died to each swimmer. And it just makes it much more impactful. And it's a constant reminder that, okay, this is, again, I'm doing this because it's bigger than myself. This doesn't benefit me. It's benefiting the people that we are there supporting. And
did you have thoughts of that maybe like that day? And also maybe like leading up to training, like, hey, this is bigger than me. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the foundation.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I did it.
Yeah.
I knew that it was going to be challenging. And selfishly, I did it because I wanted to train for something.
Sure.
And work hard for something. But the entire time in the back of my head, I just knew that, okay, this isn't something where, I'm going to go in and try to win this race. I'm going to finish, but I'm doing this because I know that it's going to make an impact for a really good community.
Sure. Who was the fallen warrior you swim for?
Kevin Ebert.
Cool.
He died in 2012 in Afghanistan, and I swam for him.
Cool.
Really, really cool.
Yeah. And talk about the fundraising you did.
So Connor and I came up with the sick idea. If you guys don't know who Connor is, my brother that I did the swim with. We came up with an idea where we're going to do this, but we don't want people to just say, hey, here's $50, here's $100. We wanted to make it fun. So name your price for something that you would want us to do. We'll negotiate that price if we think it's too low or too high, and then we'll perform the task.
Like OnlyFans style.
Yeah, basically. Some of the stuff we had to do, we did the basic donate $20, we'll chug a beer.
Yeah.
Which sucked because like 18 people donated $20. So throughout the time of fundraising, we would just get together and drink beers. I had someone donate, my friend Alex donate $100 for me to do the workout acid bath, the bike row ski in a bull rat suit. So I did that. Connor and I had to go stand in line at a bar in Southie with our swim cap, goggles, wetsuit, and fins on.
That picture's hilarious.
Yeah. And then what else did we have to do? We had to do the Cowboy Mile.
Yep.
Run. You donated $75 for that to run up and down West Broadway in a cowboy hat and silkies. So the fundraising was really fun. And
in a way, you also, I'm sure when you're doing those ridiculous things, people are asking you like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you're almost spreading awareness for what's the whole point of this.
Exactly. When we went to Loco to stand in line, this was the Saturday before the swim. What's funny about that is no one batted an eye.
Really?
No, people were like, yeah, go ahead, stand in line.
No way.
Yeah. And then obviously they asked why we were doing that. So we told them and they were like, oh, that's really cool. Can we come watch?
Yeah.
None of them came to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really cool to spread awareness about why we were doing it. We weren't just being two assholes standing in wetsuits going to take a picture to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What about during the Cowboy Run? Did anybody like take pictures or look at you weird or?
Not really.
No?
No.
People are just used to wild stuff going on in Southie.
I mean, people run shirtless down the street all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think the shorts made much of a difference. If anything, people would have said something about the cowboy hats.
Yeah, yeah.
But no one said anything.
Oh.
No one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about the acid bath workout?
That was funny. I thought that I was gonna go and it was just gonna be Connor and Alex.
Yeah.
And there was a group of people there.
Like they were expecting you to be there? Or they were just
I don't know if they were expecting me to be there, but Connor had coached a 7:30 class that morning. And then announced to the class, hey, if you want to see Tim do a workout in a bull rat suit, stick around and watch.
And everyone's like, yeah, let's go.
So there was a group of people there watching, and I didn't wear... If you guys don't know what a bull rat swimsuit is, go on Google and type in bull rat swimsuit. It's that like string, green, like neon green string. And it didn't do a good job of keeping me... what's the word I'm looking... It kept me... I was exposed the entire time. And I couldn't really hinge on the ski, on the row. My penis kept falling out. It was funny.
It was a show.
It was a show.
It
was like 5 minutes or something like that. So it wasn't that long, but it was funny.
People got their money's worth there.
People definitely got their money's worth, yes.
All right, so let's talk about or how much did you guys raise?
Just over $5,000.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I looked at the statistics afterwards, and you guys were right up there with the top teams.
Yeah.
I know there are a couple people. They said Jeff was in his speech afterwards. He was saying how there's a couple people that like there was one guy that in 10 days he raised like $12,000. Like there was some wild fundraising going on.
Insane.
Everybody's in their own situation. They have like different like businesses or people they know. So I mean, I think what they recommended was that each team tries to raise around like 1,000 or something.
It was 2,000.
It was 2,000, yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome. And they said they broke a record with fundraising that year.
Over $176,000.
That's unreal.
And I think the year before that, I might be way off, but I think he said they only raised like $50,000 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So they blew it out of the water.
And this was the most people that have done the swim.
Really?
Yeah. I think there was 75 swimmers.
Just keeps growing.
Yeah.
That's so
really,
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, being there that day, I basically just kind of our friend Jared, who swam, he's a military vet. set me up with Jeff, and I basically just stand by, provided like PT services as needed. Luckily, nobody got hurt, nobody was injured, everybody was okay. I kind of just hung out with the EMS guys during the swim. But just being there was so cool. Just watching everybody, like kind of like the nervous jitters, get ready before the swim. Everybody's putting their stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good stuff.
For sure.
And then seeing everybody as I don't know if they did like a gunshot to go or they said 3, 2, 1, go. I forget. But as people were like leaving the harbor and like just the picture from the shoreline of you guys just swimming across the harbor towards those buildings, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
This is powerful.
It was cool.
This is cool stuff. And it was also he was saying it was the only swim where they shut down the harbor twice.
Yeah.
Go across and then come back.
Yeah.
The only swim they do that for is this swim, which is pretty cool. All the Coast Guard, they tell the boats not to come across and stuff like that. So, how was training?
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't think I had enough time. I knew about this 2 months out before the swim. And lucky enough, my friend Lexi, who is very, very, very helpful, she swam D1 for 4 years at Richmond. So I just hit her up and asked if she would teach me.
Yeah.
So we went to the pool, and the first day was basically just, okay, let's see you swim. What's the best stroke that you're going to do? Where do you feel the most comfortable? So, I mean, obviously the first stroke that everyone tries to do, if you know how to swim, is freestyle. I might be wrong there.
Front crawl or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And I did that. And like I said before, I'm so used to swimming with a surfboard.
Yeah.
So obviously when you have a surfboard, one, you're trying to lift your chest off the board, and two, there's a big board in front of your face. So it's not like it can be really narrow when you stroke.
Right.
So my stroke was very, very wide. And I basically, just from being used to surfing, almost kept my chin up the entire time. So I remember after the first day, she goes, we have a lot of work to do. And it kind of psyched me out of it. But over time, we would just go to the pool and add more and more volume to my training sessions. At first, it would be, okay, do a 500. All right, now we're going to do 1,000. Now just set the clock and swim for 20 minutes. Now just set the clock and swim for 30 minutes.
Yep.
So leading up to the swim, I feel like at first I didn't think I had enough time, but I also found out that I really, really enjoy swimming.
Sure.
So there was no hesitation any day for me to tell myself, okay, I'm going to go swim.
Yeah.
So I felt really prepared. And I think after a month of training really hard, I started to get a little bit of confidence. Connor and I started to do some open water swims. I think the furthest we went was 2 miles. And then I just kept going to the pool. I kept getting in the open water. I swam with Jared at the lake in Sharon pond, like whatever it is. And then, just over time, I just started to get more and more comfortable. Again, I started to add more volume. And then the Thursday before the swim, I went to the pool, and I had said to this was my first time going back to the pool in a few weeks because I was just doing open water. And I said to myself, okay, I'm just going to set the clock for 60 minutes and swim as far as I can. I'm going to do freestyle for as long as I can. And then when I get tired, I'll start to do the side stroke or butterfly, and I'll start to switch between the three. And I'm about 12 minutes, 15 minutes into the freestyle or into the swim rather. And whenever I came up for air and out loud, I don't know if anyone heard me. I don't know if I said it loud. I'm not sure. I remember coming up for air and just saying, fuck it. Yeah. And I just did the whole 60 minutes freestyle, and I got about 2 miles.
Wow.
And that gave me all the confidence that I needed to be like, hey, I can do this.
Sure.
And what's funny about swimming, and something that I never really thought to pay attention to, was yes, you have to learn how to swim properly, like how to be narrow and long, or how to be long and narrow in a stroke, the freestyle specifically, but also to the breathing.
Sure.
Because I would go underwater and I would hold my breath, and then I would come up and I would gasp for air, and I'd go back down, and then playing around with, okay, when am I going to lift up my head for air? Is it every 2 strokes, every 3 strokes? Sure. So that was really cool to learn over time. Lexi and I kind of talked about it, but I watched a ton of YouTube videos, and then over time I got comfortable with coming up for air and then basically breathing it out underwater and then coming up for air. So that was something cool that I picked up on as I was training was, yes, you have to be efficient in your stroke, but also too, there's a lot more that goes into swimming to do something for that duration of time.
Totally.
I was in the water for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So to be able to be efficient the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
not just with your stroke, but with everything else, was a really cool thing that I picked up during training.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, when I've just done a couple swim, I've probably only swam like 3 or 4 times. Well,
Yeah.
with you, maybe the
Yeah.
time while you were training, or some of them were Jared too. But yeah, the breathing was what threw me off.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm like, okay, my endurance has always been pretty good. Like I feel like I can run forever. But when you're running, you're not like trying to like count like, all right, every 5th step, breathe.
Exactly.
You know, like
Exactly. And what was cool during the swim, so Lexi was my spotter. So every swimmer besides the guys that were in the teams, because they just did swim buddies, but for every other swimmer, they had to have a kayaker as a spotter. And I kept Lexi on my left side the entire time. And so every 2 strokes I would come up.
Yeah.
So during training, every time I would do 3 strokes, come up for air. So it was always on the opposite or right side and the left side. And then during the swim, I just wanted to see her the entire time, just so I knew I was going straight.
Yep.
So every 2 strokes, I would just look at her, come up for air and look at her.
Nice.
And that was something that I didn't practice. I think it made it a bit easier because I was able to get more air in quicker.
Sure.
And that was a cool adjustment that I was kind of proud of during the swim. Yeah.
So you didn't break the entire time?
No. I did stop a few times to pee. I just kind of floated.
Yeah.
But when we got to the first buoy, when we got in the water, I was really nervous on Saturday, and I remember talking to Connor about it, and he was just saying, "You'll be good. Don't worry. You trained hard. You did all the work. You'll be fine."
You'll be fine, yeah.
And then Sunday, I woke up and I wasn't too jittery. I was more tired than anything.
Yeah.
He picked me up. Okay, I feel fine. Got to the event. Okay, I feel good. 7:20 rolls around.
You guys waited a long time.
Yeah, 7:45 rolls around. 7:55, everyone starts putting their wetsuit on. Okay, I'm good. Put my wetsuit on.
All right, Nara. Sorry, dog.
8:10 rolls around. Okay. 8:15, I'm going to walk into the water. And I didn't feel anything. I felt pretty calm. Felt cool. Jump in the water just to get used to the temperature. It was like 62 degrees. I had a 5mm wetsuit, which is fine. But it was cold.
It's cold, yeah.
I get in the water. I go find Lex. I go up to her. She's like, "How you feel?" "Good.
Yeah.
Feel fine." And then for some reason, I had my Apple Watch on. For some reason, and I knew that if it wasn't what I wanted it to be, it would have psyched me out. But I checked my heart rate, and it was 47.
Wow.
And I was like,
low.
Okay.
Calm, cool, collected.
I looked at Lexi and I gave her knuckles, and I was like, "Let's fucking do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go."
But
you came out hot, she was saying.
Yeah, the beginning of the swim was a little hectic just because there was 25 swimmers, not on top of each other, but all in the same general area.
Yeah.
So you try to keep up with them or try to keep up with the pace.
Yeah.
And I wanted to swim the whole thing with Connor, and he had hurt his hip pretty bad in jiu-jitsu a few weeks before. So, and he also didn't wear fins, like an absolute psychopath.
Right,
yeah,
right,
he didn't wear fins. So I knew that I was going to be a little quicker than him because I had fins on.
Yeah.
And we start going. I look for Connor. I'm swimming at his pace. We're just going. We get to the first buoy, and I was waiting a little bit, and Lex was like, "You're on fire. Just go. Just go." So then I just kept going. I didn't stop unless, like I said, I had to pee.
Yeah.
But when we went around the third buoy, I made sure, and I don't know what came over me when I did this, but I just stopped and kind of just looked around, and you could see all of Boston across the harbor. I'm just floating there, kind of just
that's cool,
embracing where I was.
Yeah.
And I looked at Lexi, and this is kind of like a little green light moment for me. I looked at Lexi and I go, "There's no one else besides everyone swimming right now that can see exactly what I see."
Yeah.
It was just really cool. That was really, it kind of like that feeling kind of overcame me.
That's good.
I made sure that I stopped and took in what I was doing and appreciated what I was doing. And then she goes, "Just keep swimming." And I just finished up, and That was it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. You're able to, because I'm sure most people. Well, I don't know. I would say, I would think most people wouldn't take a second and just take it all in.
Sure.
Especially in a race, it's just go 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 the entire time.
Yeah, I think everyone was a bit nervous. Sure. I think everyone had a bit of maybe nervous. Nervous is the wrong word, but I think everyone had that feeling in them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm about to do this. I'm about to swim 3.5 miles.
Sure.
And I kept reminding myself leading up to the swim, one, you have to do this.
Yep.
I wasn't going to back out.
Yeah.
Two, this is something that's bigger than yourself. Think of who you're swimming for. What if his family and friends were there?
Right.
What if...
And they could have been.
Exactly. Like, what if his family and friends were there? What if I stopped? How would I feel now?
Yeah.
Would I regret it? Probably. So I really made sure that when I was at the swim to just, one, kind of take it all in. That was the coolest event that I've ever been a part of. Lucky enough to be a part of. Took it all in and then got in the water. And I remember Connor, before we walked down, just looks at me and just goes, let's do the damn thing, man. Knuckled each other and then did the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And like what you were saying earlier too, like the water was cold. There were a couple people that got treated for hypothermia afterwards.
Yeah.
Which you'd think like, all right, what was it, 60 degrees?
62, yeah.
Which like, just that number, because the air temperature of 60 degrees doesn't sound that bad. But if you're a surfer, if you know what 60 degrees feels like, that's cold. Especially
when you're in the water for that time.
Yeah. So the few people that didn't wear wetsuits, like Cliff, our buddy Cliff, didn't wear a wetsuit. He just had the triathlon gear on, which is basically just like super short shirts and a tank top. He was shivering pretty hard afterwards.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that needed the special blanket.
Yep.
The EMS ran over. I didn't have to use it, but I saw they had this other contraption that was like a hypothermia like device that could like, it looked like pump hot air. But yeah, the water was cold.
Yeah, it was cold. And you could feel it too. Even with the thick wetsuit on, you could feel it coming around the last buoy or the second buoy to go to the last one, the third one. I don't know if it was just the wind being, because there was I could be wildly wrong, but on that side, it was the closest to the airport, so airplanes kept flying over us.
Oh, okay.
So, and it made a little bit of a current. So I think that the wind and the current being pushed towards you is what made the water colder.
Oh,
because airplanes are flying over you. Obviously, the jet stream is going to hit the water and push.
And it's coldest when it's where it's deepest too.
Yeah.
So it could be.
So I just think from the wind being blown at us and then a little bit of a current.
Sure.
That was the only time in the swim where I was like, wow, I'm shivering. I was stroking and my elbows were like shaking.
I want to ask you about the stroke too, because during training you trained combat stroke as well. You didn't just do front crawl. Were you planning to use that at all?
Yeah,
but you didn't have to.
I did.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when Connor and I were swimming together, I kind of was going with him.
Yeah.
We would do 3 and then turn, and 3 and then turn. And then I think once I got my jitters out, I just did freestyle the entire time.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I believe the Ironman swim is 2.4.
Okay.
So you did more than that.
Yeah. Dude, I looked at Lexi after the second mile coming up for air. I looked at her, I go, I don't know if this is a thing. Went back under. But I think I went back under. Swimmer's high.
That's wild you'd be able to actually say that when you're swimming. You're not like out of breath or anything.
No, dude, my heart rate, the highest my heart rate got the entire swim, because I had everything on my Apple Watch, was 101.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's really cool. Let's see. I'm looking through my outline right now, see if there's anything else I wanted to touch upon. Oh, let's talk about, I guess, the finish line. How'd you feel coming in?
Good.
Yeah?
I got to the finish line. You come up and they say, what's your name, swim cap number, where are you?
Yeah. Make sure you're all right.
Yeah. So I came up and I said, Tim Ferraro, 88. I go, I don't fucking know where I am. He kind of looked at me.
Did the guy get freaked out?
He looked at me with wide eyes. I go, I'm just kidding. And then you walk up the ramp, come around the finish line. Jordan Samuel's waiting there with his camera, taking pictures. And then you come across the finish line, and then there's someone that puts a coin attached to a lanyard over you. Give everyone a hug.
Cool.
Waited for Connor. came out, gave him a big hug.
Ooh.
That was it. What I think was really, really cool about the swim was there was someone who swam with cerebral palsy.
Yes. Yep.
And he swam the entire thing with his arms.
That's
he trained for 2 years, is what I heard.
No way.
I heard he trained for quite a bit of time to do this. And everyone had finished the swim. And then Jeff came on the mic and said, hey, we have someone else that's coming in to finish.
Yeah.
And he comes out and people are helping him walk across the finish line. And he just looked so defeated. And everyone just started going wild. I started tearing up.
Yeah.
The people next to me were crying, clapping. Guy crosses the finish line. Wanted to drop to his knees.
Yeah.
Made sure he stood standing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they ran over and brought a chair for him. He's like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to sit.
Jared hands him a Gatorade, slams the Gatorade, and then just comes and stands with all of us.
Yeah.
That was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And also something where like the mantra of the swim is never leave a man behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that guy had what embodies the quote, never quit.
Totally.
And that's a phrase that they use in the teams, never quit.
Yeah.
And this guy comes across the finish line, just looks defeated, but in the back of his head, I bet he was like, fuck all of you. I just fucking crushed this. And that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That was unreal. I didn't even know he was swimming.
Me neither.
Until he came out. I'm like, oh my God.
I didn't know he was swimming until he put his wetsuit on. And I was like, hell yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess, actually one other thing. We talked a little bit about the wetsuit, but I know when you talk wetsuit, and especially if you're a surfer, like the wetsuit you have is a little different. Can you explain that?
Sure. I had a 5mm Xterra swim wetsuit. So way more buoyant than a surf wetsuit. And it's 5mm all around. Like a 5.4 for a surf wetsuit. It'll be like a 5 in the chest and like a 4 on the sleeves or something. And 5mm swim wetsuit, it was way more, for lack of better terms, silky.
Sure, yeah.
So you move through the water quicker.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was way more buoyant with it. And you can tell the difference of going into a pool and then going into the ocean. Obviously open water, I was wearing a wetsuit. In the pool, I was just wearing spandex.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
When I went to do the freestyle the Thursday before the swim, I noticed that I was more what seemed like dead weight. Or dense rather.
Sure.
In the pool. But the wetsuit I had was great. And it wasn't too expensive. It was like 70% off. I got it for like $200. Wow. Yeah.
That's unreal.
Got it for like $200. And then I wore fins that I got on swimoutlet.com. They were like $30. The only thing that I was worried about when I got to the swim was I saw everyone's fins and they were legit.
They were really nice fins.
I wore training fins the entire time.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm used to these fins. I'm just going to wear them.
Yes, definitely.
And then I got to the swim and everyone had the really, really long ones
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, fuck. Oh, shit. I really don't think it makes a difference. I'm sure with longer fins.
Get more propulsion.
You get, and you probably move a little quicker with each kick. Probably pushes you a bit further. But mine were fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So I guess wrapping up next year. Plans to do it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
You should too.
You know what? I'm live on the podcast, so I don't want to say yes or no just to come back at me, because there is a chance I might just do what I did last year instead of a booth. But if I don't do that, I'm swimming.
And what's so funny too, dude, is my friends that came and watched.
Yeah.
They see the event. They see you come out of the water.
And they're like,
I want to do that.
Dude, yes. That's the feeling you get.
Oh, I want to do that. It's like seeing someone finish a marathon.
Yes.
Or after we watch Sam and Matt do the CrossFit competition.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I want to do a CrossFit competition. Yes. It's like, do you really?
Right.
Do you really want to do this?
Yeah. It's easy to say that in the moment.
Exactly. And it's easy to say, hey, next year I'm going to do this. And then it's like, okay.
And next year comes around, you're like,
It's April 1st. The swim's in 2 months. You still want to go?
Yeah, right. Time to start training.
But yeah, no, I'll definitely do it next year. I think I'm going to continue to swim.
Incorporate that in your general training.
Yeah, I mean, I went swimming on Thursday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. But I just love it.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely going to do it next year if it happens next year, which I bet it will. And then I think I'm just going to keep the same training routine 2 months out. Just start to do more volume. But I think, for the remainder of the time being, before it starts to train hard again, I'm going to try to get in the pool. And also 2 summers coming around. So it's going to be nice to go swim in the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to try to, swim as much as I can and do it next year. Hopefully I can get a better time next year than I did this year. Just to be able to say hey, my training
I improved.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
I mean, I was happy with my time, but
yeah. No, that's cool. Sweet, man. All right, so I think we'll probably wrap it up with that. Did you have anything else you want to say about it?
No. Big thanks to my brother Connor for doing it with me. I think he's someone that, one, loves to do this type of stuff, but two, is very adamant about giving back to a community.
Sure.
And so, just big shout out to him for volunteering me to do this with him. I'm super happy that I was able to raise funds with him and, as he would quote, do the damn thing. So that's about it. And big shout out to Lexi for helping me out.
Of course.
Lexi, if you do.
Team Lexi.
Yeah, if you do listen to this, I'm Team Lexi.
Love it. Cool. All right. Rhody Strength signing off.